So when I read this in The Guardian, I got depressed first, then I got angry.
First, I didn't believe it.
Yeah, I kind of thought, well, it's The Guardian. They're from England. They don't understand that we have a constitution here in the United States. Well, what I'm talking about,
that's the sort of thing that we tried to get away from with those dirty Brits.
Exactly. So what we're talking about here is that 18 United States, want to outlaw protesting pipelines, oil pipelines. So when I first read it, I thought, well, that's something they want to do, but it's not going to happen. And then I read that it's actually passed in some of the states. So, for instance,
five states.
Yeah, and so in 5 states, it is now against the law to protest an oil pipeline being built in your state. Let me just quote George Monbiot, who is the Guardian columnist. We are told to fear the extremists who protest against ecocide and challenge dirty industry and the dirty governments it buys. But the extremists we should fear are those who hold office. If you think it's just the states you should be worried about, in June, Donald Trump's administration proposed federal legislation that would jail people for up to 20 years for disrupting pipeline construction. Take a look at this map here, Jesse. So this is showing you which states have enacted these laws, which states are proposing them, and which states it hasn't passed. But that's not a small number there. That's 18 states. Right. So when the Texas law goes into effect on the 1st of September, it will make impairing or interrupting a pipeline construction a felony, punishable by up to 2 years in jail and a $10,000 fine. If an activist is alleged to have intent to damage or destroy a pipeline facility, they could face a third-degree felony on par with attempted murder and up to 10 years in prison. And any organization found to be similarly culpable could face a $500,000 fine.
Little history lesson. The United States made a constitution. A lot of people like the Constitution. A lot of people support the Constitution. A lot of people have little pocket constitutions. So the First Amendment goes like this.
Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances.
So, peaceably assemble.
Well, I will say the argument you're going to hear back from these people is they're going to say, no, if you peaceably assemble, that's fine. It's just that you can't have the intent to damage or destroy a pipeline facility.
Okay, so let me just walk through how this usually goes. Now, usually you're in front of town hall, right? And town hall, there's maybe some news organizations. They have cameras. Everyone's got a phone. It's all connected to the internet.
Oh, you're talking about like if you do...
if you're doing any kind of protesting...
Gotcha.
You're usually in front of,
some building.
Some building that has a lot of important people in it, and you're usually in a city or a capital or something like that. And so you're protesting something there. So if you get arrested, there is clear, people can watch you get arrested and be like, oh, that guy, look at this video evidence of this guy not doing anything wrong and getting arrested.
Yeah.
Gee, that sure violates the Constitution. Bad things should happen to the people who made that happen. Here's the problem with pipelines. They're in the middle of absolute nowhere. Okay, so there is no guarantee that you're going to have internet. There's no guarantee that the press is going to be there filming it. And there's going to be no guarantee that your phone doesn't get confiscated. Right. So here's a problem. You have people protesting in the middle of nowhere. The police can show up, arrest everyone, charge them with this stuff, and send them to jail for a really long time or give them extremely harsh... this is extremely harsh sentences.
Well, here's the problem I have. Intent to damage or destroy. How do they know what my intent is?
Exactly.
It's one thing if I'm smashing on it with a hammer, but if I'm just standing there with a sign that says, I want this out of my state, well, I guess that's my intent to have it gone. You're going to put me in jail because I intend to do something that you read in my mind? Isn't that Minority Report?
That's Minority Report. That's future crimes.
Right.
Really? Really? So basically what this is the whole thing is just to make it so that way if you were thinking of damn it, I'm going to drive out into North Dakota and I'm going to protest that pipeline being built, you're going to think twice. You're going to go, oh, crap.
Right.
I could go to jail for 10 years?
Yeah.
I could have to pay $500,000 fine.
Right. If any nonprofit wants to start a protest, they're going to think about getting faced with a $500,000 fine. I think they're going to think twice.
This should not happen.
No.
This How did these things happen?
I didn't want to go here, but I think the reason why it's happening now is because they know the Supreme Court, the way that it's made up right now, may rule that this is constitutional. And that's a scary, scary thought.
It's the whole point of having the Supreme Court. It's the whole point of having these judges who basically, legislators can say whatever they want. It's up to the judicial branch to come in and check the power of the legislative branch and to be like, no, that's not constitutional. That violates the Constitution of this nation.
Right. And it just goes to show that our government is bought and paid for by big money.
It's corruption. It is absolutely corruption. If anyone tells you that it's not corruption, you slap them in the face and you say it's corruption. Thanks so much for watching this Now You Know clip.
Head over to Now You Know channel for full episodes of Tesla Time news and in depth.
And if you want to treat yourself and your family to something amazing, check this out.
Jesse and I have been enjoying Masterclass, where we've been learning all sorts of fun topics from the masters themselves.
Yeah, business leadership skills from Bob Iger. Yeah, that Bob Iger.
Jazz from Herbie Hancock.
Basketball from Steph Curry. Yeah, that Steph Curry.
And so many more.
Click the link down below to support our channel and experience what it's like to learn from the masters at Masterclass.